All right, buckle up, everybody, because we are diving headfirst into the whirlwind that is soccer transfers.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a mountain of reports and rumors and breaking news to sort through.
A lot going on.
But we're not just going to run down a list of who's going where. We're going to dig deeper.
Right?
We're going to try to figure out the stories, the strategies, and the potential fallout behind these moves. What do you think?
I think it's going to be really interesting to see how some of these transfers might shake things up. I mean, you got whole teams,
Yeah.
leagues even, that can be transformed in an instant.
It's crazy, right? And we've got some potential blockbusters to kick things off with. So first up is Abdulkadir Kusanov.
Okay.
This is a 20-year-old center back from Uzbekistan.
All right.
And he's rumored to be close to signing with Manchester City.
Really?
And the really interesting thing here is that Pep Guardiola
Oh, white.
supposedly personally approved this deal. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's a huge sign, isn't it? I mean, for a manager like Guardiola to personally back bringing a young player into a club like City,
Right.
a club that's already stacked with talent, they see
Yeah.
something special, that's a big deal.
Yeah. It seems like City's got a real long-term plan in place because on top of that, there are whispers about them being interested in Vitor Reis from Palmeiras and Omar Marmish from Eintracht Frankfurt, too.
So they're going after young prospects. Interesting. See, you look at it like that, it's like Manchester City's taking this long view, right? They're not just going after those big established stars, but they're investing in potential, like they're building a dynasty.
It's a dynasty.
It'll be really interesting to see how that strategy works out, compared to other clubs who are maybe focused on those immediate results.
Yeah, speaking of immediate impact, we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Kivish Kvaratskhelia, potential move from Napoli to Paris Saint-Germain.
Huge.
This could be an 80 million euro transfer fee and a salary that's like 4 times what he's currently earning.
That's a lot of money. Big money.
That's some serious cash, right?
It's eye-watering, really. It's crazy.
I know, but it is the reality of, top-tier football.
Right.
What's really interesting to me here, though, is that you got direct talks happening between the clubs.
Wow.
And then Kvaratskhelia representatives are already,
Oh, wow.
ironing out personal terms with PSG.
So they're wasting no time.
It seems like everyone involved really wants to get this done. I don't know.
It makes you wonder what's behind that. Is it PSG? Do they just want to win right now? Or is there something else at play here?
We'll have to see how this unfolds. All right. We've talked about some big money.
Yeah.
But let's switch gears a little bit. Let's look at a loan deal.
Okay.
RB Leipzig is reportedly bringing in Noah Okafor from AC Milan on loan, and there's an option to buy for between 25 and 28 million euros down the line.
So they're kind of managing that risk.
Exactly.
They get to check him out,
Yeah.
see how he fits in before
Before they commit.
committing to that big fee. And it's interesting that Leipzig is going to be covering his salary.
Yeah.
That tells me that they're pretty serious about giving him a real shot. This seems like a good move for them.
It seems like a win-win, right? Leipzig could get a future star, and Okafor gets to really showcase what he can do.
Right.
Now, while we're talking about strategic moves, AS Roma and AC Milan, they're in talks about a potential swap.
Oh, a swap. Okay.
It would involve Alexis Salemakers and Tammy Abraham.
I like swaps. I think they're becoming more and more common.
I think so, too.
It's a way to fine-tune those squads without spending a ton of cash. Sometimes it's, you get a player who fits better tactically.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about, clearing up some space in the budget.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's both.
It's like this giant jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? You got to make all the pieces fit.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move away from Europe for a second. Let's head over to the MLS. Orlando City is reportedly interested in Nicolas Rodriguez. He's a 20-year-old Colombian talent playing for Fortaleza.
Interesting. I think this is a good example of the MLS gaining more and more global influence.
Yeah.
Being able to attract a young player like that,
Right.
who's been, on the radar of some European clubs is a big deal. The MLS is becoming a real destination for these up-and-coming players.
It's a great point. All right, let's go back to Europe for a minute. There's a potential deal brewing with Philip Billing, who might be heading from Bournemouth over to Napoli on loan.
Loan deals are so popular these
It
days.
seems like it, right?
It makes sense.
Right.
I mean, in this case, Napoli would cover Billing's wages.
Okay.
And then if they decide that they want to keep him, they'd pay, I think, a fee of like 9 or 10 million.
Got it.
Smart way to spread the cost. A little less risky.
Right. You can dip your toe in the water before you jump all the way in.
Right, exactly.
However, it seems that things aren't quite so simple for Torino in their pursuit of Cesar Casadei. They're interested But Chelsea is asking for a pretty big sell-on clause,
Oh, Chelsea always does.
and that seems to be holding things up.
They drive a hard bargain.
Can you explain to us what is a sell-on clause?
Sure. So basically it means that if Torino were to buy Cassidy, and then later on they decide to sell him for a profit,
Right.
Chelsea would get a percentage of that.
Ah,
It's like their little investment. You see it a lot with young players,
got it.
like in this case.
So Chelsea's kind of protecting their investment.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Okay, let's shift our focus from players to managers.
Right.
Mehdi Benatia has just been named Olympique Marseille's director, and he'll be in that position until June 2027. What does this tell us about Marseille's ambition?
Well, I think first off, it suggests that they're all about stability and continuity.
Okay.
You know, Benacia's got a really good relationship with their current manager,
Right.
Roberto De Zerbi,
Right.
and they're on the same page.
Yeah.
They've got a shared vision. And remember, they came in second in League One last season. Huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Benacia's role is going to be really important to keep that momentum going.
It's like they're saying, we're not just happy with one good season, we're here to stay.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of building something special,
Yes.
Plymouth Argyle, they're apparently looking for a new head coach,
Okay.
and Miran Muslik is said to be a strong candidate. Fill us in. What's his background?
Well, Mazulika's got a pretty impressive track record. He took Circle Brugge from the bottom of the table to a top 6 finish.
Wow.
And they got a spot in European competition because of that.
That's a big accomplishment.
It is.
Taking a team from almost relegation to European football, that's pretty amazing.
Right. It's impressive.
Now, it would definitely be a risky move for Plymouth Argyle to hire him.
Sure.
But it could really pay off.
It could. Sometimes you got to take those risks.
That's right. Big risks, big rewards sometimes. All right. We got to wrap up with some breaking news that has really sent shockwaves through the Premier League.
Oh, what's going on?
Sean Dyche has been sacked from Everton.
Wow. No surprise there.
I mean, it's not a huge shock given Everton's struggles lately,
Right.
but it is still a pretty big development. The Friedkin Group, they own the club,
Right.
and they're apparently really involved in the search for a new manager. Sounds like they're not messing around.
No kidding. The pressure is on.
Right. They got to make a change.
Yeah.
And they got to do it fast. With Coleman and Baines, those interim coaches, leading the team right now.
Right.
That's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the club.
Understandable.
This is a make or break moment for Everton.
Couldn't agree more.
This next managerial appointment could make or break their season,
Right.
maybe even more than that. This is huge for them.
This just shows you how unpredictable things can be. You know?
It does.
You just never know.
It's a roller coaster.
It is.
And we've only just begun.
Yeah. So much action. It really shows you how connected everything is, you know. One transfer can set off a chain reaction,
Totally.
like across entire leagues, even continents. Look at Stade Reims, for instance.
Yeah. Okay.
They just agreed to sign Malcolm Jang. He's a center back from Sirius, born in 2005.
Oh, wow.
€3 million deal.
Wait a second. Didn't they just sell Egbadu?
They did, and it
Wow.
seems like they're reinvesting those funds right away, shoring up their defense.
Interesting.
Even though Jang is a younger player, it's a common strategy.
Makes sense. Got to strike while the iron's hot.
Exactly.
Speaking of younger players, Marquinhos is heading out of Arsenal on loan again.
Really?
This time, he's going to Cruzeiro in Brazil.
Oh, Brazil. You know, these loan moves can be so valuable for these young guys. I mean, look, Marquinhos joined Arsenal back in 2022,
Right.
but breaking into that first team is a tall order. You know, this loan gives him a chance to actually play regularly,
Sure.
get some experience in a different league,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully come back to Arsenal even better.
Yeah, it's like sending them off to football finishing school or something.
Exactly.
Except the classroom is a whole different continent.
Yeah.
All right. Another young player on the move, Chelsea's Yahya Idrissi. He's a 17-year-old attacking midfielder,
Okay.
just signed with Liam Sports, and Fali Ramadani is going to be his agent.
Wow. Ramadani, huh?
Yeah.
That's a big name.
Right? Big move for this young player.
Huge. Ramadani's a top agent,
Yeah,
represents some of the best players out there. This could really change things for Idrissi.
absolutely.
Raise his profile,
For sure.
open up some doors.
You see how much influence agents have?
A lot.
Yeah. Crazy. Okay, back to potential transfers. Borussia Dortmund, they're apparently looking at Max Alling. He's a center back playing for Manchester City. 2005 birth year.
Dortmund, huh? They've got a great reputation with young players,
Yeah, Allen would be in good hands there.
for sure. But I heard that there are a few Premier League clubs after him, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This kid's in demand.
Sounds like there could be a bidding war. All right, it seems like Milan Skriniar's potential move to Napoli has hit a bit of a snag.
Ooh.
What happened? Sounds like it's all about the money.
Of course.
He was offered to Napoli as part of that Kvaratskhelia deal, the one from PSG.
Right.
But Napoli's not too keen on it because of his salary demands.
Makes sense. Money talks.
It does. Even if the player's a perfect fit on the pitch,
Yeah.
if the numbers don't work out, the deal's off.
It's a business.
It is. All right, on a more positive note, it looks like Napoli is getting closer to securing that loan deal for Philip Billing from Bournemouth.
Good for them. That loan with an option to buy is a popular move for a reason.
For sure.
It gives Napoli a whole season to see how Billing performs.
Yeah.
See how he fits in before committing financially.
Smart.
It's a win-win.
It is. You know what I love? Those heartwarming stories where players return to their roots.
Oh, yeah.
Sebastian Haller is going to FC Utrecht on loan from Borussia Dortmund.
Nice.
And guess what? Utrecht is where he started his professional career.
Oh, wow. A homecoming.
It's like a full circle moment.
I love that. It'll be interesting to see if that helps him, rediscover his best form. Sometimes a change of scenery can really help,
Absolutely.
especially going back to where it all began.
Right. It's a good reminder that there's a human side to all of this.
Definitely.
It's not just about the money and the contracts.
Right.
It's about finding that right environment where these players can truly thrive.
Couldn't agree more.
Wow, we've covered a ton today. Everything from these mega deals to the loans, the managerial shakeups, and the young players making their mark. This transfer window has been a whirlwind.
It really has.
Yeah.
This whole world of transfers is constantly changing, isn't it? Never stops.
What really stood out to me was how much thought these clubs are putting into their strategies. They're not just thinking about next season, they're building for the future. Like Manchester City, they're
Yeah.
bringing in all this young talent.
That's a bold move.
It is. It'll be interesting to see if it pays off.
Yeah, for sure. And then you've got clubs like Leipzig.
Mm-hmm.
They're using those loan deals with the option to buy, minimize the risk,
Right.
but still get those quality players.
Yeah. It's not just about the big clubs either.
Right.
We saw some of the smaller teams making some really smart moves, too.
Absolutely. Reinvesting that money, attracting those young prospects. Every club has a chance
Yeah.
to make a real impact. Doesn't matter what their budget is.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that the football world is always moving.
Always.
There are new opportunities popping up all the time. You got to be ready to jump on them.
You do. One thing that really got me thinking is the growing influence of agents. You take a young player like Yaya Idrissi.
Right.
He signs with a big-time agent like Ramadani. That could change his whole career trajectory.
It's true. Those off-the-pitch decisions can be just as important as what happens on the field.
Absolutely.
So if you had to pick, which transfer do you think has the potential to really change the game?
Ooh, that's a tough one. But I think I'd have to say Kusanov going to Manchester City. Think about it.
Okay.
You got a young player with that much potential, plus you add in a manager like Pep Guardiola. That kid could become a world-class defender. I think could be a real turning point for City.
I think so, too. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Everton.
Oh, yeah?
Sean Dyche is gone, and there are so many questions now. Who are they going to bring in? Can they turn things around in time?
Lots of uncertainty right now.
Yeah. The stakes are high,
It is a pivotal moment for them.
for sure. This just goes to show you that in football, nothing is guaranteed.
Look,
Things can change in a flash.
they can. 1 minute you're on top of the world, the next.
Right. The transfer window, it's just the beginning.
It is.
Now we get to see how these moves play out on the pitch.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. But the transfer market never stops, does it?
Never.
And neither do we.
Well,
We'll be back soon to break it all down for you.
can't wait.
Until then, keep an eye on the game and enjoy all the action.
It's going to be good.